Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey. On today's show, we're taking a look at some Cowboys trade targets. The post-June 1st deadline has come and gone, and Dallas now has $20 million and a little bit more to spend if they wanted to make another splashy trade this offseason, or even a more minor trade this offseason. It also allows other teams to save potentially more money by waiting that extra time frame to move on from a player. If the Cowboys end up making a trade, I promise you we will have a video. There's nothing else I'd rather do, much to the chagrin times of my wife, but make sure you are subscribed, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. First up on the trade targets list, a name we've discussed. That is Dalvin Cook. Now, I'm not changing my tune about the Cowboys unlikely going after Dalvin Cook at his current contract. I would be shocked if Dallas was like, yeah, let's trade for Dalvin Cook and pay him almost $11 million. I don't foresee that being a decision the Dallas Cowboys would choose to end up making. The Vikings, though, now that we're past the post-June 1st deadline, or June 1st deadline, I should say, post and after is the same word, save $11 million. The Cowboys are not paying $10 million Dalvin Cook because they just moved on from a $10 million back and are paying Tony Pollard about $10 million. Now, in the event Minnesota says, you know what, we'll eat half of it, that could make some sense for Dallas at that point. Although, I believe if Minnesota had that thought already, they probably would have found a taker to take and invest that type of money into Dalvin Cook. He has not been the same caliber of player in the past couple of years. The numbers have begun to decline, to regress. He was at one point one of the most efficient running backs in the entire NFL. That 2020 campaign was 5.1 yards per carry, then 4.7, then 4.4. And some of the efficiency numbers, some of the consistency advanced stats are very negative towards Dalvin Cook. And that raises some significant red flags in terms of how much more he has left in the tank. I do think Dallas could have interest. ATRP at the right price. And right now, Dalvin Cook is not available at the right price. Maybe that changes. There have been plenty of running backs linked in trades or cut conversations, more rumors than anything, this offseason. Derrick Henry had been heavily linked. I think that was a bit of a reach. Joe Mixon and his big contract, who's been even less efficient than Dalvin Cook. Austin Eckler should have requested a trade, and no one paid him money, so he says, okay, I'll go back to the Chargers for one more year. Dallas has already made big splashy trades far beyond what they normally do in an offseason. Brandin Cooks, Stephon Gilmore. So will they make another one? You guys can vote at the pinned comment of today's show. Will the Cowboys make another trade? Near the end of the video, I think I might have the answer for who that could be. But go vote the pinned comment right now if the ad break comes on YouTube. Y for yes, N for no. Isaiah Simmons is next up here. The Cardinals linebacker, safety, overhang, defender hire. They tried to make him into a nickel corner last year. It did not go very well. Arizona is rebuilding, and I would not be shocked if Simmons gets dealt by the trade deadline in particular. The Cardinals would save what the Cowboys would then owe. It's the base salary, $3.43 million. Not that bad. I would wonder if the Cowboys go, we could get like DeMarvion Overshown, but upgraded version, right? Simmons' numbers don't look that bad. He's actually had some coverage issues. He's never quite... The Cardinals love to do this thing where they draft linebackers early and then go, oh no, where do we play him? They did it with Hassan Reddick. He should have been playing edge. They've done it with Isaiah Simmons. They did it with Javon Kinlaw. He wasn't playing that much early on. Dallas isn't in dire straits for a linebacker with everyone healthy. Vander Esch, Clark, Overshown, Harper, Cox as well. Isaiah Land is a UDFA that I know that they like as well. But if anyone can maximize Isaiah Simmons, isn't it Dan Quinn in the NFL? It'd be a fun idea. I just don't know how realistic it ends up being. Today's show is made possible by our sponsor, Bird Dogs. If you want the most comfortable shorts, pants, or joggers you will ever own, get yourself a pair of Bird Dogs today. On top of that, they're going to hook you up with a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order when you use promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, over at birddogs.com. Link and promo code are in the comment section and in the description. I had a long car ride recently, and I wasn't as uncomfortable as I normally am because I was able to wear my Bird Dog shorts. I know producer Jack, behind the scenes, loves his joggers. You can wear them to the beach. You can wear them working out. You can wear the khakis you see on screen. to golf. You can wear the sweatpants, the joggers, wherever. These are the best shorts and pants out there. Join the comfort kingdom with Bird Dogs. Head over to birddogs.com and use promo code CHAT to A, support the show. We always appreciate that. And to get a free Yeti-style tumbler. It's a perfect Father's Day gift. Yeah, you probably forgot about Father's Day, didn't you? You can get yourself or your dad some awesome shorts or pants. And by the way, if you keep the Yeti-style tumbler, I won't snitch on you either. Kevin Byard, next up here, the safety who had the Titans reportedly asked him to take a pay cut. He said no. Byard is not currently present at OTAs. I think he'd be an awesome fit at safety. What you do with Malik Hooker, I'm not entirely sure, but Byard's a great free safety. He's just very expensive. $14.1 million. He has one of the highest cap hits in the entire NFL at safety. Even though he's on the right side of 30, you would think the Titans would just restructure him. They did not. Could raise some potential red flags about how confident they are in his health or his long-term impact. He's still great, though. As a rangy, ball-hawking playmaker, I love those types of players. So I would really enjoy Kevin Byard on this team. You would have to do something with the contract. I know you can bring it on, the $14 million, because you got 20-plus in space right now, but, Cowboys like their guys. They're going to they've already paid out safety money. They've paid Jaron Kearse and Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Now, maybe there's some weird trade where you could also send Hooker to Tennessee and Tennessee eats some of the money or a buyer takes a pay cut, all of which seems like we're pushing the boundaries of what the opposing side would actually choose to do. But it's a fun idea, isn't it? So play GM for me, within reason. You can't say Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey, and you probably can't say Quinnen Williams either. Give me a realistic player who you would trade for. Drop that name or names in the comments. Javon Kinlaw is next up here, the former South Carolina defensive tackle. Guy I liked a lot coming out of South Carolina. Go Cox. He has not been very good, though, in the NFL. Fairly cheap, however. $2.72 million saved by San Francisco, owed by the Dallas Cowboys in the event of a post-June 1st trade. The problem you run into here with Mr. Kinlaw is the complete lack of production in his time in the NFL. 24 games, that is all. A sack and a half, 5 quarterback hits, 3 TFLs, 45 tackles. We're talking like that's a little bit more impactful than Tristan Hill. And we all know how we felt about Tristan Hill. So if you could maximize Kinlaw, buy Neville Gallimore, plug him in as a 3-technique option. He's not that expensive. If you could utilize that long frame that Kinlaw has, if you can hit the untapped potential, because the Niners had DeForest Buckner, and they traded him away and then drafted Javon Kinlaw immediately. And it has not worked out very well in their favor, despite, the obvious cap savings. If Kinlaw was more productive, I'd have more interest, but then he probably wouldn't be a potential trade target anyway. I'm cheating with our next one. Insert almost any Denver Broncos wide receiver here. The wide receiver room for the new look Broncos under head coach Sean Payton is overflowing. There's Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick. They just drafted Marvin Mims in round 2. They have KJ Hamler. They added 2 of Peyton's guys in Marquez Callaway and Lil Jordan Humphrey. They have Kendall Hinton. That's too many receivers. They're not keeping all of them. Somebody is going to end up being on the trade and or cut block. Courtland Sutton's fairly expensive, but has shown promise in the past. Jerry Jeudy would probably be the most expensive, Sutton contract-wise. Jeudy trade value-wise. He was almost 1,000-yard receiver camp last year, broke out down the stretch. Tim Patrick missed 2022. In 2021, he had 53 grabs, 734, and 5 touchdowns, but he's talented. KJ Hamler has never been able to stay healthy. He'd be the cheapest of the bunch. Dallas doesn't necessarily need a high-end, splashy impact wide receiver. Now, what they need is maybe some depth, or if someone got hurt, they could be in dire straits. Other name to monitor, by the way, maybe Denzel Mims finally gets freed from the Jets because they have so many players at wide receiver as well. So if you could get one of these Broncos receivers, assuming there is differences in the contracts, of course, and the trades to get them involved, pick one for me. CS for Courtland Sutton, JJ for Jerry Jeudy, TP for Tim Patrick, or KJ for KJ Hamler. I'm doing it. I put a kicker on the list. That's Nick Folk, the current, for now, Patriots kicker. They drafted Shatter Island out of Maryland surprisingly early. It made producer Jack very upset. I made fun of him. But it means it's a matter of when, not if, assuming everyone's healthy, Nick Folk is moved on from by the Patriots. $2.2 million. Maybe he'd take less. Maybe you would just wait for him to be cut. But I do think a potential trade of Nick Folk is very possible. You saw a guy like Riley Patterson get traded not that long ago for a conditional day 3 pick. Zane Gonzalez, something similar. Maybe a 7th-round pick is all that it would cost to acquire Nick Folk via trade, who's actually been pretty good. The former Cowboys legend, despite, yes, some extra point issues, that is probably a red flag and maybe why the Patriots moved on or drafted a new kicker. But he's been very accurate on the thing that matters the most, the field goal side of things. Of the potentially available kickers, they are all kickers after all. Folk actually intrigues me more than the likes of Robbie Gould or Mason Crosby. So should the Cowboys trade for a kicker, or should they just sign somebody who gets cut at roster cutdown time or from the USFL or a veteran free agent? Sound off in the comments. T for trade or S for sign? James Daniels is next up on our list. I know everyone wants a left guard. It's tough to find those because teams don't trade starting guards very often. Pittsburgh actually has really good depth at the guard spot. And James Daniels was okay last year, solid enough, but is fairly expensive. $8.25 million base salary, some roster bonus or game day roster bonuses as well. So Pittsburgh could save a lot of money. Dallas would probably want to restructure that deal or get Pittsburgh to eat some of it for a player that didn't allow a sack last year. It's good. Now, his run blocking wasn't as impactful, but Pittsburgh's depth chart right now in terms of what they have along the offense line, because they made moves this offseason. They brought in Isaac Suimalo from the Eagles, right? They have Mason Cole in there at center. They also have Nate Herbig. They have Kevin Dotson still. Kendrick Green was a 3rd-round pick. They ain't carrying 5 offensive guards. NFL teams don't do that. So somebody's going to get moved. James Daniels, the bigger, sexier name as far as sexy offensive linemen can go. So I put him on the list. Because he's played right guard in Pittsburgh. He has played left guard, though, in college and early on in his career in Chicago. Has played some center as well. I think if the money could be worked out, it actually stands out as a really good trade target for Dallas.